Walters is back for another season as the official bar of the Nats Chat podcast. Walters is the best spot to go before and after home games, located at the southeast corner of Capitol and N Streets, right across the street from the ballpark.
Take me out to the ball game.
What are you doing?
Did you know DirecTV has the most MLB games?
So, you're singing.
Yeah, they put your favorite teams front and center right when you turn it on. Buy me some cold cuts and flapjacks.
Those aren't even the words.
I'm allergic to peanuts.
Stream DirecTV, home of the most MLB games. Visit DirecTV.com. Claim based on total games offered on sports networks. Availability varies by zip code and package. New customers. Service renews monthly unless you cancel. Choice package required. Restrictions apply.
And the pitch. Breaking ball pulled on the ground right side. Garcia to it, and he has it. He straightens. He throws to first to low on the side, retired. Jake Irvin threw 7 innings in Pittsburgh.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Jack Sawinski. Finnegan ready. A long hold. Here he comes. Check swinging a ball in the dirt. Strike 3, says the umpire at third. Manny Gonzalez. Ruiz applies the tag, and this ball game's over. Kyle Finnegan nails down the save. The Nationals win at 3-0 as Jake Irvin gets win number 1. The Nationals end their 3-game losing streak, and this series is square to win apiece with 2 to play. Terrific pitching performance as the Nationals record their first shutout of the season.
And welcome to Nats Chat along with MASNsports.com Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman, who is at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. The Nats 3-game losing streak is over. A 3-0 win at the Pittsburgh Pirates on Tuesday evening in Game 2 of a 4-game series on what was 2025 Jackie Robinson Day in MLB. The Nats in MLB's 2025 regular season now are 7-10. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email the show. We always enjoy hearing from you. natschatpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a website that we invite you to check out, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat podcast t-shirt. Coming up later in the show, an update on the Nats AAA affiliate, the Rochester Red Wings, from the radio voice of the Red Wings, Josh Whetzel. So the Nats, during their now concluded 3-game losing streak, allowed 28 runs, but the Nats on Tuesday evening got excellent pitching. Jake Irvin, 7 scoreless innings. The bullpen, 2 scoreless innings. James Wood began the game with a monster home run. Mark, a very nice victory for the Nats.
Nice and tidy, Al. This is the way you want it to be. Take a very quick lead, get just lights out, economical work from your starter, and a no-sweat performance from the bullpen to close it out. There was never really a doubt about this one. And that's nice on any given night, but I think especially here, the way the last 3 games had gone, that they could just kind of seize control of a game, take it, no worries, win the game, move on to the next one. I think they needed this one in a lot of ways.
This was a game straight out of the 1940s in terms of game time. So the Pittsburgh Pirates do their first pitches early, 6:41 p.m. The game lasted 2 hours, 16 minutes. What year is this that we had a Major League Baseball game that lasted for 2 hours, 16 minutes? That was lovely.
It ended before 9 p.m. on the East Coast. That's pretty remarkable to see that. I will say also, given the conditions out there, it was officially 46 degrees at first pitch, wind chill 38. And let's just say some of those guys looked like they wanted to get those at-bats over with as quick as possible. And I can't say I fault them for that. That had to be brutal out there.
Well, you know, with the Pirates, they have not been a good offensive team this season. That made what they did in Game 1 of this series all the more surprising, putting up the 10 runs. And so you had, dare I say, a market correction in this game. The Pirates offense coming back down to earth. And Jake Irvin having what I think was a needed good outing. Irvin had not been doing so well. He, over his first 3 starts of this regular season, had an ERA of 5.63. But Irvin on Tuesday evening was great. This was the best of Jake Irvin. This is the Jake Irvin who we've talked about as potentially being a number 3, maybe even number 2 starter. 7 shutout innings, 6 strikeouts versus 1 walk. He gave up just 3 hits, all of which were singles. He threw a ton of strikes, 87 pitches, 58 strikes, 29 balls. He was efficient. He worked quickly. Just a complete gem from Jake Irvin in this game.
This is what he looked like at his best last year. And it's not just the bottom line results. It's the efficiency and the ability to go deep in a game with a pitch count that was still very low. And I think on a different night, maybe a warmer night later in the season, he absolutely comes back out for the 8th inning. In this case, the cold, the fact he had taken a comebacker off his thigh in the first inning, and I think over the course of the night, it started to tighten up on him somewhat. They decided there's no reason to push this any further, just call it a night after 7 innings. But he does have this ability. When he's at his best, he throws strikes, a lot of them, gets quick outs, and has very quick innings and just gets into that rhythm. And, I talked about the cold weather probably affecting the hitters. Well, Minnesota's own Jake Irvin is out there in short sleeves. Did not appear to be fazed by it at all. This had to feel like home to him. I'm sure he enjoyed it, even though, nobody likes being in that kind of cold weather, but he appeared to be more than comfortable pitching in those conditions.
You brought this up to Davey Martinez during his postgame session with you guys. Do you think that Irvin needed an outing like this? I mean, not that you say he has to go out and throw 7 shutout innings in this game, but like I said, his ERA over those first 3 starts was approaching 6. The results had not been all that good. I feel like this was the kind of outing that you wanted to see from him if he's going to have the kind of season that you want to see him have.
Yeah, I do think he needed it. I think he knew and would be the first to admit that those first 3 starts were just not up to his standard. They weren't awful. They weren't that bad, but not to his standard, especially the lack of length in those games. He's not a 5-inning guy. He wants to be 7 innings, be counted on to do that. And so I think he probably took that to heart, maybe recognized that he was facing a lineup that's not the most fearsome one in baseball and said, you know what, let me put the ball over the plate and force them to beat me. And that's exactly what he did. For 4 innings, the only base runner he gave up was Tommy Pham on this little, excuse me, swinging bunt in the second inning. Otherwise, he's sparkling. And as you said, only the 1 walk. Really never got into any kind of trouble. And I think psychologically, he probably needed one like this. It doesn't mean that he's now off and running and is going to go on some kind of great streak. You hope that he does. But I think we all knew deep down in there that kind of start is in him. It had not come out yet. And, it was interesting. We talked a lot about his velocity at the end of spring training. It's still not, up in the mid 90s, but it's not bad. It's 92, 93, and he's pitching effectively with that, throwing strikes. The curveball was sharp, as it always is for him. And that was a good example of how you can be effective, not necessarily by blowing them away, but just by having good command and getting quick outs and giving yourself a chance to go deep in a game.
So Jake Irvin on Tuesday evening was superb, and the Nats bullpen in this game did not allow a run. Just the second time in 17 games for the Nats in this regular season that the bullpen did not allow at least a run. And this happened off Davey Martinez on Tuesday afternoon holding a meeting with Nats relievers in his office. So we, in the 10-3 loss at the Pirates on Monday evening, perhaps reached a low point for the season with Nats relievers. We'll see. Hopefully that proves to be the low point. Certainly is the low point up until this point. Nats relievers, as of games through Monday for this regular season, were dead last in the majors in relief pitching ERA 6.91, dead last in the majors in relief pitching WHIP 1.92. We wondered on the last installment of the podcast, were some roster moves coming? They have not yet come in terms of the bullpen, but on Tuesday evening, the bullpen was really good. 2 Nats relievers combined for 2 shutout innings with 4 strikeouts. Jose A.Ferrar, scoreless bottom of the 8th with 2 strikeouts. Kyle Finnegan, perfect bottom of the 9th with 2 strikeouts for the save. A 0-drama outing for the bullpen. And isn't it funny when you have a lead what you can do, right? You can get to your A bullpen. Ferrer gets in the game. Finnegan finally gets back into a game. And the bullpen, not so coincidentally, ends up getting the job done.
Well, that was Davey's line after the game Monday night.
Right now, there's 2 guys back there. We can't even get to them, Ferrer and Finnegan.
That's an indictment of the middle inning guys and maybe of the starters not going deeper. Well, this one played exactly to the formula that you want. You're able to use Ferrer and Finnegan, and some good stuff there. Ferrer, 14 of 15 pitches for strikes. That's phenomenal, especially with a 3-run lead. There's no reason to mess around at all. Go after them, force them to beat you by getting hits. Don't help them out by putting anybody on base for free. So that was big. And then Finnegan, 1-2-3 in the 9th, a couple of strikeouts. Again, never a question about it. He's now 6 for 6 in save opportunities. And remember, opening day was a little shaky from him, but otherwise since then has been outstanding. And think back the last several years, he usually has a rough week or 2 to start the year and then has gone on a nice run before struggling maybe later in the season. The fact that he's off to such a good start is very encouraging. They just got to get into more situations that they can give him the ball in the 9th inning with a chance to win it. And as far as that meeting went pregame, it really was a pump you up kind of meeting. Davey said his piece the other night, but then he brought them all in before the game on Tuesday and essentially tried to say to them, listen, the season is 10% over. There is so much baseball left. This is not a time to panic. I still believe in you guys. And what he also did is he opened the floor to all of them and wanted all of them to speak to each other. And it sounds like, from all accounts, that this was a very upbeat, encouraging session with all of them. And to see them then go out and make good, again, it's your best two relievers being able to do that. But to see them come out and maybe set the tone, hopefully the rest of the guys in the pen can take something from that. If nothing else, the idea of throwing strikes. If you're going to get beat, get hit. Don't help them out with walks, because we know that's been such a huge problem so far this year.
So there's a joke in sports that you know you're in trouble when you hold a team meeting. And for the Nats to hold a pseudo team meeting this early in the season, when I first saw that, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But maybe, just maybe, it did some good with the bullpen doing well. Are we to read anything into Jose A.Ferrar and not Jorge Lopez getting that eighth inning? Lopez did not pitch on Monday evening, last pitched on Sunday afternoon. Do you make anything of that or not so much? The way it's been framed is that Lopez is the number 2 reliever to Finnegan's number 1, but we saw Ferrar in the eighth inning on Tuesday evening.
I think they've always believed Ferrar can be that guy, and especially if it matches up with the lefties. And he faced the 8-9 hitters who were righties, but then O'Neill Cruz was up third that inning, the big lefty guy. So I think that was by design, and maybe if it's all right-handers, you might see something different, maybe Lopez. So I think the matchups work, but I think deep down they feel like Ferrar is the number 2 guy in that bullpen. They're going to finagle that a little bit based on lefty-righty matchups, but in a perfect world, all things else being equal, I think they probably do go to him primarily before they would go to Lopez.
Hey, it's Al Galdi for Window Nation, which has a gift for Nats Chat podcast listeners that's as good as any James Wood home run. 4 free windows for every 4 windows that you buy, and you pay nothing until 2027. This offer is good through April 30th, so hurry. Schedule your free estimate at 866-90Nation or windownation.com and tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast. There's no limit to how much you can save, and if you buy a house full of windows, Window Nation will include a free entry door. Window Nation partners with the top window manufacturers in the nation to build windows to their high-quality specs. Then Window Nation passes the savings on to you. You'll protect your home with some of the best windows that you can buy at a fraction of the price of other brands, and you'll increase the value of your home. 4 free windows for every 4 windows that you buy, and you pay nothing until 2027. The offer is good through April 30th. Call 866-90Nation or visit windownation.com and tell Window Nation that you want the deal that you heard about from Al Galdi on the Nats Chat podcast.
I'm excited to tell you about the designs Homage has cooked up for the 2025 MLB season. If you're as baseball obsessed as I am, you'll love the full roster of major league looks from Homage. Amazing comfort and deep cut designs that help fans show off passion for their favorite teams. Homage has a massive selection that tells the story of the greatest sport from its very beginnings. Deep logo history, coast-to-coast stadium tours, and the biggest players from every era. Legends never die at Homage. If you need your new shirt for going to a ball game, Homage has you covered with its most comfortable fan clothing, and it's available for fans of all ages. This year's collection hits dinger after dinger after tater after tater. Fleece, tees, bottoms, and more. And don't forget to check out the new starter jacket lineup, an iconic dugout look you don't want to miss. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die, and these looks go long, period. Check out the Homage MLB collection to find your team's coolest gear.
Take me out to the ball game.
What are you doing?
Did you know DirecTV has the most MLB games?
So, you're singing.
Yeah, they put your favorite teams front and center right when you turn it on. Buy me some cold cuts and flapjacks.
Those aren't even the words.
I'm allergic to peanuts.
Stream DirecTV, home of the most MLB games. Visit DirecTV.com. Claim based on total games offered on sports networks. Availability varies by zip code and package. New customers. Service renews monthly unless you cancel. Choice package required. Restrictions apply.
3-2 pitch. Wood, a long drive, straightaway center and deep. Forget about it. This one heading out toward the river. It is long, long gone. It bounces out of PNC Park and down toward the Allegheny River. James Wood's first career leadoff home run. 6 pitches in, the Nationals lead 1-0. That one completely out of sight. What a blast for James Wood.
Well, the Nats offense in this 3-0 win at the Pirates on Tuesday evening, not great, but good enough. The Nats had 3 runs, 8 hits, 3 walks, 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position. The 8 hits were a home run, a double, and 6 singles, and the homer was rather impressive. James Wood, he is the Nats starting left fielder and number 1 batter, went 1 for 5 with a mammoth solo home run. Wood, in a Nats 1-run first, had a leadoff full count home run on a moonshot to right center field for a 1-0 Nats lead. The homer went a projected 445 feet per Statcast. What a shot that was by James Wood. And to whatever extent there is such a thing as a tone setter, this was a tone setter, what James Wood provided with that home run. 6 homers now for Wood in this regular season. He is number 1 among all qualified Nats players in OPS at 946. That was super impressive, that home run to begin the game from James Wood.
He's now tied for second in the majors in home runs with 6. Not a bad place to be at this young stage of his career. And we've seen it before. The old school idea of you got to have a fast leadoff guy who just gets on and steals a base and tries to set the tone that way doesn't really apply as much anymore. Davey is at the forefront of the believing in the idea of putting a big bopper the number 1 spot. Remember Kyle Schwarber and what that did for them for that glorious month of June 2021 before it all fell apart. He believes in that idea. Get on the board first, and the best way to do that is with a guy who can hit the ball out of the park. So I don't know that we're going to see James Wood consistently as a leadoff man, but with CJ Abrams out, with Alex Call getting the night off as well, Dylan Cruz struggling, it made sense, I think, to have him in that spot. And my God, 445 feet. It was 115, I think, off the bat. It's the hardest hit and farthest hit home run of James Wood's career. And the locals here insisted it probably did not end up in the Allegheny River. I mean, it bounced off the concourse behind the center field stands, and it probably wound up on a sidewalk back there and rolled down. So it didn't quite get to the river, but it didn't miss it by much. And to do it at that part of the ballpark on such a cold night, it just shows you the raw ability this guy has. And yeah, it set the tone. The guys in the dugout immediately felt that boost. You're Jake Irvin. Before you take the mound, you've got a 1-0 lead thanks to that. That's big time. I do think it makes a difference when you can have a guy like that in the first inning who can do that kind of damage.
He's off to an excellent start to this season. I don't think we should lose sight of that. James Wood is living up to the hype and then some. And, with Davey Martinez's lineup, it is worth noting, what did Davey do with the lineup on Tuesday evening? He did what I love to see. The Nats' 3 best batters this season were the numbers 1 through 3 batters in terms of guys who are healthy. So CJ Abrams has been good, but he's out. But James Wood, number 1, K-Bert Ruiz, number 2, Nathaniel Lowe, number 3. Those have been the Nats' 3 best hitters in terms of players who are currently available. So I like that thinking from Davey Martinez. Just get these guys as many plate appearances as possible. But man, it is exciting with James Wood. We've talked about Dylan Cruz and his struggles, but on the opposite end of that spectrum is James Wood emerging as a great player before our eyes. This is special, and I don't want to lose sight of that. And, it's funny, you look at the slash line for James Wood, and this is a takeaway for those who are not fans of batting average. He's only batting .242, but the on-base is .365. He's slugging .581. Like, he is producing. So do not be misled by the .242 batting average. That does not mean much when it comes to the season that James Wood is having. So Wood has the homer. I mentioned Dylan Cruz. He had himself a nice night on Tuesday evening. Hopefully, he's getting going here. Cruz was the Nats starting right fielder and number 7 batter. 1 for 3 with a single and a walk. He also had a stolen base. Now, as we have discussed, Cruz has been plagued by some bad luck, and sure enough, he in the top of the second had a liner for the second out, despite the liner registering an exit velocity per Statcast of 105.4 miles per hour. But Cruz in the Nats 2-run 6, a 2-out opposite field single to right center field, and he had a stolen base, and Cruz in the top of the 8th drew a 2-out walk. I feel like we're saying this every time Cruz has a hit or 2 or gets on base a few times, like hopefully this gets him going. So we're saying it again. Hopefully this gets him going. But I had to laugh with what happened in that second inning, because that has been a thing with Cruz, him hitting balls hard, him making outs. The guy has not been able to get many breaks. He did finally get a hit and a walk later in the game.
And the thing about that at bat, he did everything you want to see from him. It's a breaking ball. He stays back on it. He hits a rope to center field, right up the middle. That's like exactly what you want to see. And it just happened to be right at O'Neal Cruz in center field. So I'm not inside Dylan Cruz's head, but I hope he trotted off the field from that one actually feeling good and not being discouraged, because he did everything that they want him to do in that situation with that kind of pitch. He just didn't get the final result. But if he does that 100 times, he's going to have 95 hits out of those 100. It will happen for him. So that was good. Got the hit later in the game. As you said, the stolen base. I'm going to go out on a limb here, make a little prediction for Wednesday. Knowing that CJ Abrams is still out, knowing that they're facing a lefty, I think we might see Dylan Cruz in the leadoff spot as a chance to maybe be a boost to his confidence. Hey, you started to hit the ball better. You had a good night on Tuesday. Let's give you a chance to set the tone yourself as the leadoff guy. Watch for that on Wednesday night.
That's interesting because normally Davey will take something good that happened the previous game and try to ride that out. So off Wood homering in the leadoff spot, I would think maybe Wood is in that leadoff spot, but we shall see. Perhaps some educated prognosticating there from Mark Zuckerman. I'm anxious to find out what happens. Another good game for Nathaniel Lowe. I love what Lowe is providing. It is steady, man. You can count on Nathaniel Lowe every game to be there for the Nats, to do something good for the Nats. Even when he's sick, he comes off the bench and gets a big pinch hit. Like, this is what Nathaniel Lowe has been doing. He was the Nats starting first baseman and number 3 batter in this game, 2 for 4 with 2 singles and a walk. And he had a stolen base, Low for this regular season, number 3 among all qualified Nats players in OPS 836. I know it's not always sexy, but man, he just has been so reliable, and I think that there is so much to be said for that.
Well, you know, he's got the kind of dad bod and the receding hairline and the not so great mustache. Maybe he's just not sexy to begin with, and that's okay. He can do a lot of good things for you otherwise. He has been everything as advertised that they could want. You know, and it's funny, I was thinking last night as we're talking about the bullpen and all the issues and Colin Poche in particular, and the fact that they just don't have any other lefties they could even call upon. Boy, it would be nice to have Robert Garcia right now, wouldn't it? And yet you look at that trade and you cannot be upset with the trade. Having Nathaniel Lowe as an everyday first baseman, middle of the order bat, is far more valuable than having that second lefty in the bullpen. And so kudos to Rizzo for that deal. Yes, you would have hoped he could go find some other lefty to more adequately replace Garcia, but Nathaniel Lowe so far has been an excellent pickup. And by the way, I also noticed the other night, Christian Walker, the big free agent target we were all talking about all winter at first base, the bigger name guy, more expensive guy, he was hurt in spring training. He's off to a terrible start for the Astros. Now, it's a long way to go. We'll see how it all ends up. But right now, Nathaniel Lowe is doing a lot more for the Nationals than anybody else would have had they picked them up.
Hey, big money players need to provide big time production. Lowe is the highest paid Nats player this season, $10.3 million. So the Nats are getting their $10.3 million worth. The Learners are getting their $10.3 million worth from Nathaniel Lowe.
Hey, Nats fans. After the exciting Nats game, have a listen to some relaxing solo piano music to unwind and help you go to sleep. I'm Tim Newmark, the composer of the Nats Chat theme song, and you can find my latest music on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, and anywhere you stream music. The song you're hearing now is called Improv in A-flat major, The End of the Road.
I'm excited to tell you about the designs Homage has cooked up for the 2025 MLB season. If you're as baseball obsessed as I am, you'll love the full roster of major league looks from Homage. Amazing comfort and deep cut designs that help fans show off passion for their favorite teams. Homage has a massive selection that tells the story of the greatest sport from its very beginnings. Deep logo history, coast-to-coast stadium tours, and the biggest players from every era. Legends never die at Homage. If you need your new shirt for going to a ball game, Homage has you covered with its most comfortable fan clothing, and it's available for fans of all ages. This year's collection hits dinger after dinger after tater after tater. Fleece, tees, bottoms, and more. And don't forget to check out the new starter jacket lineup, an iconic dugout look moments you don't want to miss. Heroes get remembered, but legends never die, and these looks go long, period. Check out the Homage MLB collection to find your team's coolest gear.
And now, two pigeons who can't believe how good humans have it with DirecTV.
These humans are hopping from streaming apps to live sports without batting a wing.
All from the DirecTV home screen.
With just one click, you could be watching a baseball game, a movie on Netflix,
Or a critically acclaimed documentary.
You watch documentaries?
I love the ones that leave you with a question.
What?
Exactly.
DirecTV, a better way to watch whatever you want to watch. Visit DirecTV.com. Internet-connected Gemini device, separate Netflix membership, and additional paid subscriptions required for third-party apps. Restrictions apply.
Quite an at-bat for Nunez. Stands straight away in the box. Bat held high. The kick and the pitch. Swing and a line drive into center field on a broken bat. A base hit. Rosario scores from third. Cruz around third. He comes in to score. And the Nationals dugout going wild. So are the Nats fans in attendance behind the dugout on the 10th pitch of his at-bat. A broken bat, line drive, single to center to drive in his first 2 runs in the big leagues this year. And it's now the Nationals 3 and the Pirates nothing.
Nasim Nunez. How do you like what this guy is doing with CJ Abrams out? Again, Nunez impressive. He is an Nats starting shortstop and number 8 batter, 2 for 4 with a 2-run single and another single. And he had a stolen base. And with the 2-run single, what a plate appearance by Nunez. So the 2-run single came in the Nats 2-run 6. It was a 2-out, 2-run, broken bat single up the middle for a 3-0 Nats lead. The single concluded a 10-pitch plate appearance in which Nunez was down in the count at 1.02. And he had a stolen base. This guy's reputation is not that he has, superb plate discipline. His reputation basically is that he's not a very good hitter. He can run and he can field, but the batting is not very good. But I tell you, the batting has been just fine, if not good, in this latest run at the major league level.
It's been outstanding. He's 4 for 7 in the 2 games that he's played, in addition to the great defense and everything else. And it's good quality at bats against Skeens on Monday night, and this one against Keller in a huge spot, to turn a 1-0 game into a 3-0 game. This is what we saw from him in spring training. And you say at the end of that, well, it's spring training. Do we really know? Is that legit or not? He's picked up right where he left off there. The idea all along was if CJ Abrams went down, this guy could take over at shortstop and at minimum provide a good glove there. And he's doing much more than that right now. And I can't believe I'm saying this, and this could very much change over time. But right now, if you had a lineup full of Alex Calls and Nasim Nunez's, you'd be in pretty good shape. And that's an amazing thing to consider, what these 2 guys who were not supposed to be part of the everyday plan, certainly for this team, what they're providing under the circumstances, earning their playing time. Nunez isn't going to win the job over CJ Abrams when he gets healthy. That's not going to happen. But it'll be fascinating to see how this all plays out. And maybe this is legitimate from him, what he's showing us.
Well, and it makes you think, too, okay, if/when Dylan Cruz gets going, if/when Luis Garcia Jr. gets going, if/when Josh Bell gets going, what could this offense be? You've got the likes of James Wood and Keibert Ruiz and Nathaniel Lowe and CJ Abrams when healthy in good places. You need some of these other guys to get going, but you're getting these surprising contributions from Alex Call, from Nasim Nunez. Also in this game, Paul DeJong. So he was the Nats starting third baseman and number 6 batter, 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch, which he took to the face in the Nats 2-run 6 with 2 outs. DeJong ended up leaving the game. That is one of the scariest scenes in not just baseball, but all of sports. The hit by pitch to the face. You hate seeing that. What do we know about how Paul DeJong is doing?
Not a lot yet, but there is some concern. And I know they didn't really show the replays, and maybe this is why. He really did get it on the left side of the face, the cheekbone, and then the nose. And he was bleeding from 2 different places, one below his eye and one from his nose. He was able to get up on his feet and walk off under his own power, but he was woozy as he walked off the field. They sent him to get a CT scan to find out what, if anything, is going on there. I think his eye was already starting to swell up at that point. So there's definitely concern. It's a frightening moment for anybody in the sport when you see that happen. There's nothing you can do. You could see Mitch Keller and Henry Davis, the Pirates catcher, were both on a knee, crouched down, like only 10 feet away. They wanted to make sure they were close, not intruding in any way, but you could see they were upset by it. So it bothers everyone in the sport when that kind of thing happens. They were still waiting on the results on Tuesday night. Pretty clearly he's going to have to miss a little bit of time. I don't know if that's an IL situation or not, but a scary moment to be sure. And just a reminder that, it doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what kind of reflexes you have. You get a fastball up and in like that, there's nothing you can do about it. You're at the mercy. And it's really remarkable how anybody that happens to is able to ultimately get back in the box and become a good hitter again without flinching every time they see a pitch coming their way.
Well, and that's one of the things you worry about is that, okay, first of all, how is the guy doing health-wise? But once he's back, how is he doing psychologically when he's in that batter's box? And especially these days with pitchers throwing harder than ever before, what is going through your mind? I mean, it used to be a rarity that a pitcher hit 95. Now it's like commonplace. Now it's basically a requirement to be a pitcher in the majors. You got to hit 95, right? And so with guys throwing so hard, if you have taken one to the face, what do you think about that moving forward? And if DeJong has to go on the 10-day injured list, I tell you, man, the Nats are taking their fair share of injuries so far. I went through this a few episodes ago. All of the Nats players who are currently on injured lists, it's a pretty lengthy list. Now, yes, a decent number of them have to do with injuries that happened last year or, with Kate Cavalli, Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. But rather sort of subtly, the Nats have accumulated a good bit of injuries here. And so hopefully DeJong doesn't go on the 10-day IL. But if he does, you're really starting to take on some water here in terms of player health.
Yeah, and there are only so many players at AAA that are, worthy of being called up. And, if they had to do it, it's probably like a Juan Yepes to come out and help out. But he's not going to be your third baseman. So, all of a sudden, Nunez is probably your shortstop and Ahmed Rosario, Jose Tena are your third baseman. Not a great position to be in. The good news, CJ Abrams does look like this is going to be a short-term thing. He was out there running on the field before the game Tuesday, so maybe this will just be a 10-day situation for him, which would be beneficial, of course, to everyone. The other one, just to give another injury update, Michael Soroka appears to be doing well, supposed to throw a simulated game on Wednesday, although the weather's not going to be great here again, so they have to kind of hold off and see if he can do it or not. But the plan, at least, is for him to throw a sim game, which could then lead to a minor league rehab start. So the idea being that he may not have to miss that much time either before he's back in the rotation.
Have you guys been given any kind of an update on Andres Chaparo? He's been on the 10-day injured list since March 26th, retroactive to the 24th with an oblique strain. Has anything been said about him?
I have not heard much of anything, but I know at the time, that was a significant oblique strain. And that's the kind of thing that you really can't do anything until it's fully healed. And then you start up the baseball activities again. So they never put a timetable on it. But in my mind, I was always thinking something like 6 to 8 weeks minimum for that. And here we are, still not quite a month into it. So I think he's still got a ways to go there.
All right, so Game 3 for the Nats at the Pirates, Wednesday evening at 6:40. Mitchell Parker will be the Nats starting pitcher. The Nats now are halfway through this 10-game road trip. The record is 2-3, 2 games to go at Pittsburgh, and then comes a 3-game series at the Colorado Rockies this weekend. Not to put too much on this game on Wednesday evening, but if this is going to be a successful road trip, you would think this is a game the Nats win because Parker overall has been good. The Pirates overall are not good offensively. Trevor Williams is starting Game 4 on Thursday afternoon. And while you would say, okay, the Pirates are an ideal matchup for Williams, Williams is not pitching well, so it's hard to know what to expect from him right now. So point being, if you're going to win the series or at least get a couple of wins in the series, if you're going to have a successful road trip, however you define that, you would think a win comes on Wednesday evening with Mitchell Parker pitching.
Yeah, you want to come out of here at least splitting the 4-game series, and Wednesday is probably a better matchup, as you said, than Thursday. And at least, if you do win Wednesday, you have a shot at 3 out of 4 on Thursday, as opposed to saying, oh man, they have to win Thursday just to make sure they split the series before going to Colorado. So yeah, you want to see some positive momentum here. Bailey Falter for the Pirates was not good his last start. The lefty, you're going to see probably a little different lineup, like I said. Maybe they can take advantage of that. And ideally, you take an early lead, you get some length from Mitchell Parker, and then hope like heck that the bullpen can do what it did on Tuesday night and repeat that performance on Wednesday night.
You tell us what you think. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. Email the show, natschatpodcast @gmail.com. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat podcast, and we leave you with this update on the Nats AAA affiliate, the Rochester Red Wings, from the radio voice of the Red Wings, Josh Whetzel, who has intel on the latest start for Shinosuke Ogasawara and more. And this update on the Red Wings is brought to us by Window Nation. Window Nation's Buy 4, Get 4 free sale going on now through the 30th.
Drew Millis, the Nationals catcher, leads off. Switch hitter will bat left-handed. The pitch from Dakota Hudson is hit in the air to straightaway center and deep. Racing back Doyle on the go to the warning track, looking up, and it's gone! Right over the center field wall. Drew Millis has homered, and the Nationals lead it 6-1. That is his first of the season. A smash to dead center field.
Time for a Rochester Red Wings update, and the Wings right now are off to a tough start. Just 3-10 on the season. They just went 1-4 on a road trip to Scranton-Wilkes-Barre, losing 3 of those games in walk-off fashion. As far as how some of the individual players are doing for the Red Wings, the Wings have gotten really good play from their catchers. Drew Millis is currently on a 6-game hit streak, 9 for 22 during that stretch. He's batting .351 in the year with 3 doubles, 3 triples, a home run, and a .1094 OPS. Andrew Kisner, who signed a minor league deal with the Nationals in the offseason, 5 for 13 with 6 walks and an on-base percentage approaching .620. Third baseman Brady Haas had a tough series in Scranton, going 3 for 20, but is still hitting .280 with 3 doubles, a triple, and a home run in the season. And outfielder Robert Hassel's batting .280 right now. 11 of his 14 hits have been singles. He is 5 for 5 stealing bases. Fellow outfielder Andrew Pinckney at the moment hitting only .189, but he does lead the Red Wings with a pair of home runs. Shinosuke Ogasawara had a good start on Sunday in Scranton. He went 5 innings, allowing only 1 run on 2 hits. He did issue his first 4 walks of the season. Now in 3 starts, Ogasawara 1 win, 1 loss, and a .480 earned run average. The youngest pitcher on the team is 22-year-old starter Andre Lara. The right-hander currently has made 3 starts, just 0-1, with an ERA over 9 at the moment. And maybe at the moment, the most consistent relief pitcher is lefty Connor Pilkington, the former Cleveland Guardian. He allowed 4 runs his first appearance of the season, but has not allowed any earned runs since then over 4 games. That spans 5 2/3 innings. He's only allowed 2 hits while striking out 7 during that stretch. This is Josh Whetzel with the Rochester Red Wings update.
With pinch batter Frank Keller at bat, Robinson dashes to the plate. It's close, and umpire Summers calls him safe on the daring maneuver. But Yogi Berra doesn't think so.